The new Premier League season is just around the corner, so who better to predict what's going to happen than this guy? Let's go! Hey guys, how you doing? FM and Dale here, and welcome to the channel. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and do all the beautiful stuff for Football Manager and just football content left, right and centre. Well, as we know, the new Premier League season is just around the corner. Days, seconds, minutes away. Could have been last week, depending on when you're watching this. But Dale is ready to make those predictions. Who's going to get relegated? Who's going to win the league? Well, prepare for it right about now. Where better to start than at the very bottom? And that, for me, is going to be Fulham. Sorry, Fulham fans. I just don't think you've got enough. You went up through the playoffs. I don't believe that you've brought in the right kind of players. I've seen today, by the way guys, this is filmed on a Wednesday, seen today that Areola, by the time this goes out, Areola might be your goalkeeper. Do I think that's enough? I don't. I'm sorry. I think Mitrovic will do well again, but not good enough. And with VAR in play, I mean, it might be worth watching Fulham purely for Mitrovic and VAR. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, you're finishing bottom, Fulham. In 19th place, and I've got a few people who are going to be very upset with this, Aston Villa. Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's a lot. I know. There's a lot of you out there who'll be very upset with this. But for me, Villa have not strengthened the team at all today. Again, judging on when I'm filming this on Wednesday, they've just signed Ollie Watkins, and £28 million for me, for Ollie Watkins, is ridiculous money to be spending on a player who's had one season as a striker. And yeah, he played great. He played fantastic for Brentford, but it's a completely different situation. And if you are a Villa fan out there thinking, well, Dean Smith loves him, Dean Smith turned him into this player, he didn't. I'm sorry to let you know. Villa, I don't think you've done enough. I don't think you've got defensive quality. I can't see it. I just can't see it. This one was tough, and this could be controversial come the end of the season. I've been fighting with this one, and I'm going to go West Brom. Yeah, I mean, it's a fight between the two Wests, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But I'm going to go with West Brom. And again, it's working on the balance of not strengthening their team. I don't believe they've got a striker who's good enough to play in the Premier League as of right now. We're having so much conversation about Diananga. You know what I'm chatting about. Look, he looks exciting, looks a good player, but is he good enough to keep you in the Premier League? For me, it's going to be really tough. And West Brom are a little bit too much of a bouncy team. So West Brom, I'm so sorry, you're going down. Whereas this team got very, very lucky, and that is West Ham. I think West Ham are going to finish in that lucky 17th spot. I don't see anything from him. I just don't see anything from West Ham this season. They're going to have to make some massive changes in the rest of this transfer window. I might redo this when the transfer window closes in October on my birthday. So if you all want to send in gifts, please do. But yeah, I just don't see it. I think they're going to be very lucky. I think they'll stay up for the skin of their teeth just for the fact that they've had players who've played in the Premier League and they know the Premier League, and they'll just sneak above West Brom, Villa and also Fulham. So you're lucky, West Ham, but I'm picking you for 17. So next, just above them in 16th, I'm going with Brighton. I really like Brighton. I like their team. I like their signings. I mean, they've got Adam Lallana for a start, who is one of my favourite players ever. I should like them a bit more. I think they're going to stay up. I think they're going to do okay. And I think for me, 16th position for Brighton, it's a decent position. They can take it. 15th position, I'm throwing in Leeds. That's right, I think Bielsa could work brilliantly in the Premier League. They've got 8 games less than they had last season. And we've seen for the last couple of years at Leeds, their high tempo, high press game works fantastically. Take a few games out of the legs of the players, should work very, very well. I mean, I've put them in 15th. They could finish really high. They could do very well. They could do what Sheffield United did last season. But I still think they're lacking a bit of quality, especially again up front in the Premier League. It's not as easy. So we will see what happens to Leeds. But 15th is where I'm going. In 14th, I'm going for one which I think is slightly different. I'm throwing in Sheffield United. Yeah, this has got nothing to do with being a Sheffield Wednesday fan either. I'm not going to lie to you. This is purely based on my anticipation for a season which is just not going to go the same way it went last year. We all know about second season syndrome and how difficult it can be for certain teams. Well, Sheffield United have one start and they play it fantastically, but now teams know what that is, which means they can be picked off, they can be looked at, maybe they can be exploited. I'm really pleased with some of their signings. Bogle, Lowe, brilliant. Ampadu, fantastic. But all of them, let's be honest, haven't got Premier League experience really. So it could go one of two ways. You can also argue with that one that none of the team basically had Premier League experience last year and they still did pretty well. But hey, look, I don't think that's a bad position for Sheffield United anyway. As long as they're away from the relegation zone, hopefully the fans will be happy. In 13th position, we're going with Newcastle United. Yeah, it's a team that no one really likes. Sorry, Geordies, but after you took our manager and all this business with Mike Ashley and Saudi Arabia and everything, it looked like it was going to be a really fun season for you, but I think it actually still will be. Fraser and Wilson, brilliant signs. Hendrick as well. I think that's a great little team. Keeping it with Premier League experience, British-based players, something you probably needed to do for quite a few seasons. With Shelby in the midfield as well. For me, it's looking pretty decent for a mid-table finish for Newcastle. I think Steve Bruce is very good at this level. For a team like you, Newcastle 13, take it. Now, this one is, I'm not even sure why. I think I've basically forgotten. So, could be good, could be bad. But 12th position, Crystal Palace. Why Crystal Palace in 12th? They haven't made great signings. They don't look fantastic. Every other season, they've been awful. The thing with Crystal Palace is, you never quite know. If they click together, if players work, then what they got to lose? They could easily go down. Don't get me wrong. I've put them in 12 because you always need to have one club do a lot better than they're expected to do. And I'm throwing out Crystal Palace for some reason. Very easily could be in the bottom three. This could save West Brom. This could save Fulham even. Who knows what Crystal Palace are ever going to do. But I've thrown them in 12 with belief for them. So come on, Palace. I love your home stadium. I've never been. So if there's any Palace fans out there who want to get me a ticket when we can go back to football. The glory days. Please do. But Palace, 12th. What do you make of that? Above them in 11th, I've gone with Southampton. Yeah, again, Southampton, another club that I really like. I love Ward-Prowse, love Danny Ings. And again, if they work as they did at the end of last season, they've got a very good chance. Che Adams, with further Premier League knowledge, is going to be another good striker. They can do all right. I've got a good feeling that Hasenhüttl, I don't really know how to say it, will be brilliant this year. I think a decent result would be 11th for Southampton. Definitely one to watch. In 10th position, thrown in Burnley. Yeah, Sean Dyche always seems to do the job, always seems to get Burnley safe and sound. And this season, I think will be no different. But this does depend on Tarkowski. If he leaves to go to West Ham, if I'm him, I'm not going. But it does depend on that. It also depends on the fact that they have got an ageing squad and they've got a team that you know exactly what you're going to get. But with a few injuries, they could be in trouble. We've seen this many times with Burnley. They seem to pull themselves out. And with Nick Pope, I think they've got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And he still can't even get in the England team. Someone explain that one to me. In 9th position, I am going with Everton. Yeah, it was a difficult one. Everton, it's difficult to know exactly what they're going to do this season. With the signings of Alain Ames, you're thinking, wow, this could be a great season for Everton. But, and the big but is that the big but is I just don't believe in them. I just don't believe in them. Alan, I think, is an absolutely wonderful signing. Do not get me wrong, it's exactly what they need. James Rodriguez, he's either going to turn it on and we're all going to look and go, wow, or we're all just going to sit there and think, yeah, he's not that player who scored the wonder goal in the World Cup. It's going to be tough for them. Ancelotti is a dream manager, fantastic manager. And if they can get a few more acquisitions in, who knows? Who knows? They could be a lot further up. But I'm going to stick with a safe 9th for Everton. In 8th position, I'm going to throw in Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yeah, Wolves are that team, safe and steady, look like keeping hold of most of their players. I've not heard much transfer rumours since the very start about Traore leaving. Apart from losing Matt Doherty, which is a massive blow. I'm not going to lie, that's a big blow, especially coming from someone like me who definitely did not rate Matt Doherty about 5 years ago when I saw him. Now he's moved on to be a great player. They've brought in a fantastic... Whoever is scouting, whoever you are at Wolves who's finding these players, you're definitely playing Football Manager. It's not just Jose on All or Nothing. It's the whole of the Wolves backroom staff. Bringing in Silva is an absolute brilliant signing. If you don't know much about him, he's going to be a little gem, an absolute gem. And at 40 mil, you're going to think, it's a lot of money for a no one. He could be a massive someone. If he's coming off the bench or how many games he starts or plays, that's very interesting to watch. But you know what you're getting with Wolves. You're getting a very good manager, a very strong team. And again, 8th position. I think it's a decent result for them. In 7th position, I'm going with Leicester. I love Leicester. Really like Leicester. I like their team. I like their ethos. I like the players they've signed. The only thing about Leicester is that they have got the same Football Manager scout, but he's the Football Manager scout from about 8 years ago. when we were thinking, oh, Tielemans coming through, Pryor coming through from, or Pratt as they like to say, coming through from Anderlecht. They've done a bit late on them, but they are very, very good players. With Vardy still putting them away up front, they've got a great team. Once they bring Maddison back, I think that was one of the issues at the end of last season when we were playing the behind closed doors games. Sorry for the kick up there. We had the problem with no fans, which is big for Leicester because their fans are fantastic. But also, Maddison was injured. They had a few injuries, especially at the back. So this year, if they can keep them fit, keep them strong, brilliant. The only issue we do have with Leicester is Evans is getting older. Vardy is getting older. Worries there. And also Chilwell leaving on the left. Yes, they've got a great replacement, but as soon as you start taking one or two away from that Leicester team, you do start to worry for them. But I still think with Brendan Rodgers, tactically sound, 7th position for Leicester. In 6th position, I have gone with Arsenal. It was always going to be tough with Arsenal. Always going to be a struggle to figure out exactly where I wanted to put them. I think Arteta's got them moving in the right direction. Do I think they're there yet? No. No, I don't. I think it's fantastic that they've kept Aubameyang. I think Lacazette is up in the air as to whether he's going to stay. If he goes and they bring in a different striker, maybe that's the way forward for them. I still think they're slightly weak in the midfield areas. Definitely still weak in the defensive areas. I think Gabriel is a great signing, but you never know when you sign someone from a different league to come into the Premier League whether or not they can kick it straight away. And I think it's even harder for defenders. But I do think that Tierney's going to have the season of his life, and we're going to start talking about him as being a real top quality left back. And you never know with Arsenal, but I think Arteta will do enough. They've got to sort out the goalkeeping situation at the moment. Martinez and Leno, which one do you go with? They've got to be structured and got to be team. I think with Arteta, they'll do that fine. And I think 6th position, in all honesty, is fine for them. In 5th position, I'm going with Tottenham. I hope you are all watching All or Nothing because it is fantastic. And we've all fallen in love with Jose Mourinho if you hadn't already. The issue with Tottenham is the same issue they had last season, and it's going to be the same going into this season. The signing of Matt Doherty is fantastic. Okay, Serge Aurier was always a weak link on the right-hand side of defence. Doherty will solve that problem and be a brilliant acquisition. The error they're making at the moment is they haven't got a backup striker. They've even let Troy Parrott go on loan to Millwall, which for me, just keep him on the bench. Bring him on for Harry Kane. We've seen with the England games this week just gone. Harry Kane tires, especially at the start of the season. There's so much focus on him. There is so much focus on him that they need someone else to bring on. At the moment, they're looking at Son, who plays anyway as a winger for them. They're bringing Lucas up front. You just think, no, bring in a striker. It's very difficult to bring in a good striker who's going to be willing to sit on the bench. We all know this. But look, why not? Try it. Bring in someone. It all depends on acquisitions. If they get the right acquisitions, I think Mourinho will take them into the Champions League without a worry. But we're all waiting on who they're going to bring in, really. I just don't think they've brought in enough yet. But we shall see. Look, it pains me to say it, but I think Man United are going to get into the Champions League. Yeah, it's true. I think they're going to do it. I think we saw enough of them at the end of last season with Fernandes and Pogba. Brilliant players. Rashford, another great player. The talk of Sancho for me isn't necessary. Okay, and if you might disagree if you're a Man United fan. I don't think you need Sancho. I think you need a centre forward. And if you don't go for Lautaro Martinez, it's a shame on Man United and every single one of you. Because if you get him, he could be a massive missing piece to the team. Exactly what you need. I still think you're going to go fourth. I still believe you're going to sign somebody of interest before the end of the window. Defensively, you do lack. But again, when you've got a strike force like yours, if you put it all together, you know what? Top four is easy. It's an easy for Man United. Plus, I do think with Man United, you may hate this, but they remind me of Liverpool about 4 years ago when Jurgen Klopp first took over. The error and the difference, Solskjaer isn't Klopp. But if they can get the right guy in, they've got the right team together with energy. Very exciting strike force. Could be a big year for Man U, and it could be a good time to be a Man U fan. In third, I'm going with the team that we all can't wait to see this season. It's Chelsea. Their transfers have blown the minds of everyone. Havertz in, Werner in, Chilwell in. I mean, Thiago Silva in. I mean, for me, Chelsea, I spoke about it recently with the people they brought in, how good a team they could be. This season, for me, Champions League is easy. Can they be pushing on to the Man City and the Liverpool? Can they challenge up there? No, I don't think they can. I think there'll be a big points difference once again between the top two. But I think Chelsea will be great to watch this season. They're on that progression. They've got young players, exciting players, quick players. a deadly finisher in Werner. If Werner isn't in your fantasy football team, you are crazy. Give away, he's in my fantasy football team. I think he's going to score loads next season. I think it's going to be great for Chelsea. It's going to be exciting for Chelsea, and I'm really excited to watch them play. Now it gets really tough. The top two. Who's in second? It's Manchester City. Yeah, I've been umming and ahhing. This has been one of the most difficult ones of them all. And, this could change, and it probably will change every week and what happens. But for me, and I've said this to a couple of people, I don't think they've done enough defensively. They spent a lot of money on Nathan Ake, and I like Nathan Ake. I think he's a very good defender. Is he Virgil van Dijk? No. Is he going to be the major difference maker? No. Does he have that bit that's going to make a striker scared? No. So if Laporte is injured, if Ake gets injured, they've still got to bring in Fernandinho to play at the back. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And if you haven't got the strongest back four, you are in trouble. And I think, again, Man City will be in trouble. Have they signed enough as well? Too much talk about Messi. Did we ever really think Messi was going to go? No. No, we didn't. I don't think anyone really fully, wholeheartedly believed Messi would be able to go to Man City this season. So what's that left them with? Well, it's left them with Torres coming in. Very good player. He will be a brilliant player, and I think he could be a sneaky one for your fantasy football team. But on the flip of that, how much game time will he get? Always difficult to know. Sterling can be fantastic as always. Aguero, you know what you're getting, but he's getting older. Again, another issue we've got. Jesus, deadly finisher. Man City will still be incredibly good and incredibly difficult to beat, but I think they will get pipped once again. So I'm going with it. I'm going with the decision, and I'm throwing Liverpool in first position. I think they'll win the league again. This is tough. This is tough. And I wasn't sure whether to do it or not, because I think we all agree that Liverpool have done nada. They've done nada. They got left back in. But grand scheme of things, do we feel confident that Liverpool have done enough if they get injuries? Fortunately for Liverpool, they don't seem to be getting injuries, and they haven't really had injuries. But also, they've never really had a bad season from one of the front three. You could say that Firmino last season didn't get the goals. It's not all about the goals with Firmino. He's a dream player to watch. Salah in pre-season that I've seen, I've not been excited by Salah in pre-season. He looks a bit lethargic, looks like he needs a rest. I don't know. I think maybe I've got a bit brave by saying Liverpool will finish first, but I'm going with it and I'm sticking to my guns. I think the Klopp factor's amazing. I think the issue with Liverpool will be the fact that the fans are not in the stadium. And I think with the fans not in the stadium, it's very, very difficult. I also think it's very difficult to judge Liverpool based on the behind closed doors games we saw at the end of the season. They practically won the league already. They knew that going into it. They still played very, very well, but they kind of lacked that edge. Will the new season bring a new Liverpool? Or when I say new Liverpool, the Liverpool we saw a year ago from now, who were just absolutely amazing to watch. Who knows? But I'm really looking forward to it. And if Mane and Firmino and Salah can keep their exciting partnership going on up front, who needs more than that? You got Origi, you got Brewster. We'll see if they all stay. You got Curtis Jones coming through. Nico Williams showing that he's a good right back. He can take over the spot. Keita showed little glimpses at the end of the season that maybe he's good enough to come into the first team. It's a difficult one. Wijnaldum leaving, I think, is a massive thing. It's not gone through yet, and I don't know if it will from today. But Wijnaldum, for me, is one they need to keep. And if he does go and they bring in Thiago instead, then they're not the same player. I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. Thiago is a fantastic player, but he's not going to run around like Wijnaldum will. He is not going to be as selfless as Wijnaldum. So we'll see what happens there. But it could be a very interesting season. I think it'll be a lot tighter than it was last season. I think there will be some ups and downs. I think there will definitely be some teams beating the top teams from the bottom. But as of right now, that is the table that I'm going with. I'll pop it up now. Hopefully at some point you can see it from top to bottom. There's a few that I'm not sure about. Crystal Palace may have been forgotten. They could be bottom of the league. We'll see what happens. But I'll keep you updated. Keep you with the posts all the way through. Keep it the love. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think. Do you think I've got this completely wrong? Do you think I'm mental? If you do, get it into the chat below. And we'll keep on going throughout the season.